Hi there, my name is Taylor Van Wagner, and I just wanted to do a little shout out and say thank you guys for hosting this event. It's been a blast for me, and it's definitely more work than I thought it was going to be, but that is a good thing because I wanted to be able to grow, and I'm proud to say that my brain hurts right now going through this thing, and I love it being stretched. I just wanted to do my message for the habitude that I'll be doing today, and I chose the story of Buddha, the Golden Buddha. And I'm just going to walk through these points and share some things that I found in group that bless me. And to engage the students starting off, I'm a youth director of about 50 kids, middle and high school here at my church. And to engage them, I talked about doing maybe a cutout that's 6 foot tall, or sorry, 8 feet tall, because I feel like that's probably one of the coolest things about this story, other than the fact that it was filled with gold, but just the diameter of it, how tall it was, and giving the kids an image that they can kind of take home and put in the bank, and having some sort of a cutout, making someone in our church, or asking someone in our church to maybe stencil out some kind of a graphic on it so it has a picture put to it. And then I talked about in the very, very beginning, pulling in students and telling everyone to basically take the next 10 minutes, find 3 people in the group that they can connect with, and just tell them something positive that they see about the person. Now, my goal with this is to encourage the students to find people that they maybe don't necessarily know too well. And it's kind of funny to me because when they do that, they're probably going to pick like outward traits because they don't really know the person, which kind of ties in with the Golden Buddha story. And so to connect, I just had some questions that I wrote down to connect with the kids. One of them was, how many of you would think that you would be able to distinguish the values in somebody else? And so the other one that I have is, do you feel that you have giftings inside you just waiting to come out? Kind of a question just to get their brains turning and get them thinking about their value and their potential. And I would plan on elaborating, maybe throwing a story about me personally. For me, in high school and in middle school, I just struggled with finding value in who I was. I didn't understand my giftings, and I just want high schoolers and middle schoolers to know that just because you don't have it all figured out doesn't mean that they're not there. Man, I grew up just pressured. I remember sitting down with my family, and my dad would grill me about, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do? And I just didn't understand. I needed somebody to come alongside me and mentor me through that. That's what we try to do with these kids. And so, obviously, the next part, the third part to the 6-step process, is to share the habitude. And the story of it is basically the 8 foot tall Buddha in the middle of the city, and people would throw trash on it because it wasn't a statue that was covered in gold. It was just a statue that collected probably dirt, grime, mildew over the years, and people would use it to store their trash and just kind of use it as a dumpster walking by. And so one day, this priest decides, you know what, we're going to take this thing in. It is, a relic that is value, or of value, at least to the degree that it was a Buddha statue. And we're going to clean it off, shine it up, and in the process of moving the statue, someone maybe dropped it or something, but it cracked open, and they realized the whole thing underneath the surface was a golden statue. Such a cool story. So for the fourth section here is to converse. I wrote down some of these questions. I said, who do you know that maybe is a person that has a ton of value but doesn't really see that value within themselves? Next question I had is, why do we tend to look at the negative when it comes to ourselves and our personal lives? And the last question that I wrote down is, what inside of us needs to shift in order for us to start seeing the positive things inside of us and our potential, our passions, or the giftings that are placed inside of us. What do we need to do to be able to distinguish that within ourselves? Just some questions. We'd split them up into small groups, get them talking, get them chatting. I love the 3-person idea in the groups and the round table ideas because I do these groups every single week, so I think it's powerful to do. For the fifth section, the personal or personalized section, I wrote down, I just wrote down, write down some things of value about you. So that's something I would have the students do. Write down some things. Let's activate, let's personalize this thing. What are some things specifically about you that you see in yourself that, you know what, there's something here. There's something that God knit inside me. The other one that I wrote down too, is what are some things you see in others. I love the idea of taking this, not only making it personal for them, but making it personal for them to see in other people, because it's easy to find dirt in a gold mine or coal mine, and it's just easy. So the goal is to get them seeing potential in their peers and the people around them, and comfortable identifying and maybe even calling that out in their peers around them. And so the last part, the sixth step to this process, is to illustrate. And so it says, consider telling a personal story to help see the importance of the principle in our lives or in their lives. I have a really cool personal story for me that hits home, and it's actually one of my leaders that just graduated from high school. His name's Sean. And Sean is just a natural entrepreneur. He's been that way since he was in elementary school. And this kid is a rock star. This is one of the things he wanted to do. He was determined to buy a car and start a business. So how do you do that? Sean decided he was going to take a bicycle that he had, and he rode for maybe 10 to 20 miles a day, picking up pop cans for over a year. And he would take these pop cans and he would turn them in, and obviously get the cash for them. Here in Michigan, you get 10 cents a can. So I'm imagining, I'm not going to do the math, but it's going to take a lot of cans and a lot of time and a lot of days and a lot of work in order to be able to build a business and one day get a car. So he went through the process of riding his bike. The business he wanted to start was making picnic tables. So he wanted to buy the materials, buy the tools he needed to get that started. And the cool thing about it now is he's like the only guy I know that just as a senior paid for his car, pays for his tools. He's prospering, and it's just really cool. Well, the heart behind Sean is, while he was here at the church, he had people, mentors, people that came alongside him, people that believed in him, people that called out the gold that was inside of him and loved him. And they got him to believe that he had that gift inside of him. And he's been working and activating that gift, that belief that, you know what, God can give me ideas. I can have brilliant ideas to be able to raise money. I don't need to live in poverty. And so it's just really cool to see stories like that, because Sean realized through mentors the value that he had inside of him, and Sean believed that value. And that's, I feel like, is the heart of the Golden Buddha, because sometimes on the outside people may not see what's on the inside, but if we can identify what God sees and what's locked inside of us and release that and bless others with it, man, that's when life becomes fun. And so through this, I wanted to end with like a weekly challenge, and the weekly challenge would just be to activate it, to not only finish off their goals and the things that, or sorry, not their goals, but there are things that they identified about themselves. Write a more in-depth thing, maybe because I'm a pastor, ask God about some things that are inside them that they don't necessarily see. And then my activation would be as well to go and share that with someone else. Even if you're if you're intimidated to go and tell somebody, write it down, write a note down, hand it to them, and just go out and bless people and make a difference, and just call out what you see in other people, call out the beauty that's around us. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Loving this seminar, whatever you want to call it, and looking forward to tomorrow. Thank you. Take care.